Sherwin for the Cancer Gag Act as SB 1051 shields pesticides companies from lawsuits. Do you support this bill? Why or why not?
I don't think I do. But again, you hesitate. Bayer bought Monsanto knowing full well what the liability costs were. So that makes me not think we should do that. The other side of that issue, so I still want to listen to people because, gee, we do that sometimes, is that, I can't say it, glyphosate is used extensively in the farm community, and there's some serious concerns about what that would mean to the farm economy and whether or not jobs would move out of the state. But generally speaking, I don't believe we should shield them from liability when they bought the company knowing full well those liabilities are out there. So I'm a wavering guess just because I really want to look into it some more, but I have some significant concerns about providing and shielding a multinational company out of Germany when there is some evidence that it certainly has an effect on cancer. Now, having said all that, part of the bill, and this is what I need to get into, basically it's about the FDA has said you can only put so much on the label, and they're getting sued because they don't say some things on the label. And again, I've got to dig into this a little bit more. So I want to look at exactly what it would do. But in general, shielding a company from liability or something like that, no, I don't favor that. But I want to make sure we get the details down, similar to what you said about the nursing home cameras. There's some details there we have to work out. But generally speaking, I'm not too fond of the bill. And it will come through ways and means. So eventually I can't waffle. I'll have to vote.
Just to give you a little bit of background, everything Brent Siegrist said is correct. What this boils down to, as he said, they bought the company, they manufacture glyphosate. One of their biggest plants is down in Muscatine, Iowa. There have not been absolute conclusive studies that glyphosate cause cancer. And this issue has been around for a couple of years now, where people are bringing class action lawsuits against the company, and in certain states they win an award, and in other states, when all the evidence is presented, they lose the cases. The problem is that as Brent Siegrist said, the FDA is the one that regulates what goes on the label. If the manufacturers were able to say, like, cancer warning, glyphosate may cause cancer, just like when you buy, a pack of cigarettes or loose tobacco, or you buy alcohol, it's got those warnings on there. The company would willingly do that. They want to do that, but the FDA does not allow them to. And so you get these big law firms that are looking for a huge payout, trying to sue and win hundreds of millions of dollars. The problem with it is, when we're talking about glyphosate, we're talking about Roundup. And I represent very rural parts of Iowa. I've talked with my local farmers who have contacted me on this. Some of them have even had cancer, and they kind of laugh about it. And they're like, crap, we were slaughtering Roundup on the fields all the time. If you don't have the products that you need to actually kill the weeds, help the crops, we could end up with soil degradation, water contamination. And the other thing is, if we shut it down in America, we're not going to stop using these different types of chemicals. They're going to come from ChemChina. ChemChina is the second leading manufacturer of these products, and so we could be getting our chemicals, getting these products from China. So it's not going to stop. So the question is, what is the correct path forward? Now, if someone is actually harmed and they have a legal case, yeah, absolutely. Everybody should be able to take that forward and get the adjudications they need and get the restoration they need. So it's a complex issue. I just want to make sure everybody understands that the company would put on the label what they should put on the label. The FDA won't allow them. If we shut it down in America, it's coming from China. And you can talk to local farmers. Who's going to stop using Roundup? Because you stop using Roundup, guess what? You're going back to tilling every acre. You're not using no-till. You're not doing cover crops. What does that do to our water table? What does that do to our water quality? So I'm not saying for or against. All I'm saying is it is more complicated than what it seems on the surface.
almost everything that we do is somewhat nuanced and complicated. This one in particular as well. I mean, you can see both sides of the issue. For me, this one's pretty clear. I am not for providing protections to large multinational corporations, particularly this one, Bayer, outside there. You are correct, there is no definitive information linking glyphosates to the cancer rates. However, you know, this has kind of been a personal issue for me, and I've spent a lot of time going around and talking with, like, the University of Iowa and some of these other places. They will tell you that where they're seeing the largest amounts of cancer rates are from farmers. You can also go and look at, just go and look at the cancer map. You can do this on your own after you leave here. You will see that the largest amounts of cancer rates are happening in the rural communities and actually following our waterways. I don't think we do enough in that arena either. So there's a reason why we are putting this bill together, and that is because they can see the handwriting on the wall. They know what's coming. They know that ultimately there's going to be enough of a link that they're going to be held liable, just like the smoking industry has been, just like the opioid industry has been, and they're trying to protect themselves in advance, preemptively, to avoid these large settlements. But I am not for protecting any sort of organization that either knowingly or possibly even unknowingly we're giving people cancer. That's how I feel on it.